Impetus, episode 121. A promo package kicks off this episode with a parody of the classic undercover detective TV show. It surrounds the mystery identity of Angel's secret admirer. The immunity situation is highlighted. Over the past 2 weeks, a secret admirer has been gifting his way to Angel's heart. The question is, who is it? Is it the sentimental Bobby Manuel, the cocky ladies' man Jerry Kane, or the manipulative leader Charlie Finch? The secret admirer is revealed tonight. After an intro to the show, a promotion for tonight's following events are seen. Tonight, the secret admirer is revealed. Angel finds out who cares for her the most in an in-ring segment. Also, Johnny Fabuloso and Terri Delighta take on Empire, and Gary Federline wants the truth. Gary Federline calls out Riki Mathews tonight. Impetus kicks off with the entrance of the Coast to Coast champion Warren Jackson, followed by the entrance of Jarvis Banks. Match 1, Jarvis Banks versus Warren Jackson. If Jarvis wins, Dylan Dark decides the Night in Hell stipulation. If Warren wins, he must defeat Mark Emil next week to do the same thing. Despite Jarvis's best efforts, he gets struck down toward the end of the match and hit with the overdrive. Warren locks in the Indian Deathlock with Dylan and Mark storming down to the ring, only to be too late. Jarvis taps out. Winner, Warren Jackson. After the match, Warren stands instantly, prepared for a 2-on-1 fight, only for Dylan and Mark to hold their position on the outside. They are disappointed, clearly, with Jarvis's loss. Warren tells Dylan that he has one more left, one more opponent to beat until he decides the stipulation at a Night in Hell. The champion then stares down Mark Emil, who wants to fight, only for Dylan to hold him back while nursing the recovering Jarvis. The show then heads backstage in the interview area for a backstage interview with the Essentials. Josh Alba and Freddie Cornell are introduced and asked about their confrontation with Empire last week. Empire sarcastically claim that it looks as though they upset Empire last week as they crossed the line, literally. Oh, and super kicking their faces didn't exactly make them happy. Apparently, Empire and a lot of other people didn't exactly like their pun last week with the whole, crossing the line situation. Well, Josh considers that to be an opportunity. Freddie pulls out an envelope and simply pushes it away from him, all with Josh seeing this as an opportunity to push the envelope. Freddie then grabs a Dorito and places it on his partner's neck. Josh understands that by acting so brash, they've put a chip on their shoulder. Eating the chip, Freddie claims that one thing is for sure: the Essentials have earned their stripes, made their mark, and paid their dues. Freddie then gives $1 to Josh, explaining awkwardly that, Josh is Jewish. Get it? Paying their... Look, you get it, alright? They're not all winners. The Essentials have been waiting for an opportunity for quite some time now, and they're going to do whatever it takes to climb the tag team division and achieve their goal of becoming champions rather than just sticking to puns. Just when they think they have all the questions, the Essentials give them the answer. Josh and Freddie leave as a brotherly duo, only for the commentators to question Immunity's chemistry, as all three men seem to be attempting to convince Angel that only one of them is their secret admirer. A replay from 2 weeks ago is shown. The beginnings of the secret admirer saga is shown, where Angel demands Kelly Sales and Jackie Sky out of her locker room, slowly twirling her hair and being mesmerized, immersed by the chocolates and flowers left at her bench. She giggled like a little schoolgirl and read the card that came with it. To the most beautiful girl I know, love, your secret admirer. Angel blushed and twirled with excitement. Later in the night, she acted bashful in front of Bobby Manuel, thanking him for the kind gift. Angel pranced off, smelling her beautiful flowers, with Bobby acting as though it was all part of his plan, Yep, no worries, Angel, anytime. Speaking of immunity, tonight, the secret admirer is revealed. Angel finds out who cares for her the most in an in-ring segment. Also, Greg Williams calls out the locker room, but what about? However, up next, Johnny Fabuloso and Terri Delighta take on the aforementioned Empire. Johnny is in a little bit of heat as last week he almost broke Steven Dreadful's testicles. More updates on that when we return. Enter Johnny Fabuloso and Terri Delighta. With Terri motivated to be a team, his fabulous partner enters with a little bit of guilt. Enter Empire. With Johnny still with the same emotions during Empire's entrance, the commentators explain why. A replay from last week is shown. The closing footage of the Steven Dreadful vs Johnny Fabuloso match is seen from last week. With the official down, Steven dodged Johnny's supermodel kicks and raked his eyes, proceeding to grab the ring bell in hopes to use it on Johnny's face. Setting up for the KO blow, the ring bell was snatched off of Steven's hands by the appearing Terri Delighta. With Johnny shaking off the cobwebs, he tried to clothesline the distracted Steven, only for Dreadful to dodge. Almost knocking down his manager, Johnny was turned around by Steven, who hoped to kick him in the groin, only for Johnny to catch the foot, allowing Terri to give Steven the nut shot himself. A really hard nut shot. With Johnny winning right after, the model expressed a little worry as Steven laid in huge pain. Match 2. Johnny Fabuloso and Terri Delighta versus Empire. Winners, Johnny Fabuloso and Terri Delighta. Attempting to celebrate after the match, the fabulous duo gets cut off by the music of the Killers of the Revolution. Enter CJ. CJ storms to the ring just like last week, furious with Johnny and Terri. He asks if the two are happy with themselves. Their actions last week have almost costed Steven Dreadful his balls. CJ reveals the details of Steven's groin, with Johnny slightly giggling while Terri is beside himself with amusement. The diagnosis for Steven was testicular trauma. His left testicle shows a fracture, which has led to a swelling of 6 centimeters in width, length, and depth, double the size of a standard testicle. Terri can't suppress his laughter anymore, as CJ claims that thankfully, Steven can still pass urine, but is not bleeding internally and has been able to gain an erection since last week, so that's positive news. However, CJ is more upset that the dick kicking has not only costed Steven a night in hospital, but his dignity, his manhood, and most importantly, a payday. And when you mess with Steven's income, you mess with CJ's income, and that's when he gets pissed. Johnny begins to speak calmly and admits that perhaps things went a little too far last week, only for Terri to interrupt. Terri wishes nothing but heartache and ball ache for Steven for the rest of eternity, and by the looks of things, the fans in attendance do too. He would dare Steven to come fight his own battles rather than a lamely tattooed, mediocre commentator do it for him, but it looks like Steven doesn't have the balls to come in the ring tonight. CJ goes ballistic and believes Terri doesn't have the balls to get in the ring with him. With the duo now shocked, CJ wants to punish Terri for his actions and challenges him to a match next week. CJ then throws the mic down with Johnny and Terri stunned. Did CJ just challenge Terri to a match? As CJ storms out, Johnny and Terri are almost laughing at the absurdity of the situation. Even the commentary team are seen at their desk with the same emotion. Ryan can't believe what we just heard and asks Aaron for his opinion on the matter. Aaron always knew CJ was a little bit of a weirdo, and there was a time where he kind of liked that about him, but this, to challenge Terri Delighta next week? The man's insane. The topic of the Killers of the Revolution continues in a backstage segment, an interview with Daria in the interview area. The women's champion is welcomed and reminded of the Jade Williams and KOTR rise as of late. With Jade defeating her twice in tag team action, Daria is asked if she fears a title loss at the upcoming pay-per-view, A Night in Hell. With the interviewer jumping right to the point, Daria guesses she must admit it. Not only is she facing a giant like Jade, but a newly motivated Jade, a smarter Jade, a more dominant Jade, and a Jade that put her to sleep last week. But does she fear a title loss? Does she fear Jade Williams? Hell no! Daria didn't make it to this point. She didn't become a two-time women's champion by doubting herself. She is the greatest women's champion to date based on her undying will and passion to compete, and only recently has she stood toe-to-toe with Goliath. For the first time in a long time, Daria is David. Jade may have pinned Daria, may have put her to sleep even, but she'd like to see Jade do it without her bitch boys helping her. Jade may feel that she has the advantage heading into A Night in Hell, but we are all yet to know the match that they'll compete in. Daria hopes that a real winner, a real champion, can be determined without the involvement of KOTR. If Gary, Steven and CJ are kept away from their fight, Daria believes and Daria knows that the nameplate on her title will stay the same. Daria holds her title toward the camera, confident in herself. With the interview segment ending, A Night in Hell is promoted. The Women's Championship is on the line as Daria defends her title against Jade The promotion is quickly stopped as we return to the interview area where Jade Williams is seen choking out Daria with yet another sleeper hold. Knocking the champion out with the grapple, Jade picks up the title and tells Daria to change the nameplate now, as it will save time at the pay-per-view. The show then heads into a commercial break. Impetus returns with the entrance of Akira. Hoping to restart her anti-cosmetic journey, Akira enters with focus, stripped of the vibrant colours she immersed herself with recently. The commentators noticed her slightly bruised eye, caused by last week's match against Courtney. They almost credit Akira for her lack of makeup, as most women probably would have wanted to cover it up. Enter Kelly Sales. Match 3. Akira versus Kelly Sales. As the competition grows, so too does Akira's attitude toward her opponent. With Akira in control, she starts to kick Kelly around with a little bit of disrespect, asking her who she thinks she is. No, really, who does Kelly think she is, with her brightly coloured hair and her gothic vampire getup? Akira uses her heat to put Kelly down, telling her that she can fool everyone that she's this bad, take-no-crap badass. But Akira knows that she has no idea who she truly is, and until she does, she will fail. With Kelly fighting back, it doesn't take too long for Akira to stomp her out with the Empty Promises finisher. Winner, Akira. Impetus then transitions to a replay from last week. Another highlight of the Immunity Saga is seen. Last week, Angel was shocked to walk through the parking lot and be gifted a large photo frame of Post Malone, despite not knowing who he is. With Jerry pouting away nearby, it looks as though he arranged the whole thing, hoping to convince Angel that he is the secret admirer. With Jerry asking if she minds that, Angel thinks for a second, looks at her gift and claims that she doesn't mind at all. Blushing, Angel claims that she's just going to get settled for the evening, but she'll see him later, okay? Jerry is happy to see that booty walk past and clenches his fist in happiness, delighted to have progressed his relationship with Angel. Tonight, the secret admirer is revealed. Angel will find out who cares for her most in an in-ring segment. Also, Greg Williams calls out the entire locker room. What does the Rebel want to say? Enter Gary Federline. As Gary graces us with his presence, the commentary team discuss CJ's ridiculous challenge to Terri Delighta, Jade's deplorable actions upon Daria, and Stephen Dreadful's absence due to his groin issues. With Gary apparently demanding the truth, could he be referring to Riki Mathews? A replay from last week is seen. Jade and Gary defeating Riki and Daria. With Daria knocked out from Jade's sleeper hold, Riki was seen in huge pain, holding his ribs. Gary is seen in the ring and boasts about his win from last week over Riki Mathews, despite the fact that it was all Jade. He tells all that he achieved a victory over Impetus' returning hero for a multitude of reasons. A. He's a better wrestler than Riki. B. He's a better striker than Riki. C. He's a better athlete than Riki. Look, let's just save an hour and agree that Gary is better than Riki in every way, okay? However, there is one alternate reason as to why Riki failed last week. One extra reason why Riki couldn't get a returning win last week, and he wants Riki to come out here right now and say it to the world. With Riki not entering, Gary tells Riki to come on out here and reveal the dirty little secret. Enter Riki Mathews. Riki enters with not only irritation, but with bandaged ribs. Irritated, Riki gets in the ring with Gary apologizing, as he should have opened the ropes for the poor guy. Gary continues to mock Riki and his injury and asks him to tell the world why he lost last week. Riki looks at his ribs and asks if he really needs to say it. Clearly, his ribs are injured. His ribs are injured! Gary exclaims. And why, pray tell, Riki, may that be? Gary asks. Riki sighs with Gary interrupting again. It wouldn't have anything to do with Gary hitting Riki with the Fed cred through a frickin' ladder 3 months ago, now would it? And it wouldn't be the reason why Riki couldn't help his oh-so-good friend Daria last week, could it? Riki tells Gary to stop running his mouth. Yes, he has injured ribs. They haven't fully healed since that night Gary organized that pathetic attack. He thought that the ribs healed properly, but it turns out that he was a little too eager to get back in the ring. A little too eager to get back in the ring and kick Gary Federline's ass. Riki asks what happened to Gary. 12 weeks ago, Riki was raising Gary's hand as he announced his own injury to the world, only for it all to be a cruel joke, a disgusting plan of attack on Riki himself. But why? Why him? Why Riki? Gary pretends to care. Oh, why Riki? Why poor little Riki? Gary asks Riki if he thinks that this is about him. No, it's about Gary. It's about the KOTR. While Riki was getting his ribs welded back together, the Killers of the Revolution have been rising through the ranks to claim what is theirs: success. Gary was never going to achieve championship status by coasting through like he was before, associated with a hero like Riki Mathews. Gary knew that, but he didn't want to admit it. The only man who did admit it, the only man that made him see clearly, was CJ, and since that night, Gary has been more relevant than ever before. Riki needed to be taken out, put to the side, forcing Impetus to rely on someone better. Someone they need rather than already have. And that man is Gary Federline. Riki claims that perhaps Gary is right. Gary's ascendance of the roster cannot be denied, as he has been in more main events than ever before, even competing in the 5-man turmoil match where he lost. With Gary upset, Riki claims that it seems this change of persona occurred due to his desire to hold the gold, only to have failed in doing so still. Riki asks what exactly Gary has done since forming the Killers of the Revolution, apart from pissing everybody off, proving how much of a pathetic, cowardly bastard he truly is. Gary is stunned and stumbles only to hear the music of Vipernip. Enter Vipernip. The president settles both men down. He knows that this is heading toward yet another physical interaction between the two, and as much as he'd like to see the two smash each other to pieces, he's a big boy president and needs to maintain order. Vipernip tells Riki that he has spoken to his doctors and claims that his ribs will heal. They will heal in approximately 3 weeks. With Riki 100% healed before the Night in Hell pay-per-view, Vipenib asks, why not give everyone what they want? Gary Federline versus Riki Mathews at episode 124, where the winner will become the new #1 contender to the Coast to Coast title. But remember, this pay-per-view match, well, it's got to have a stipulation. I mean, that's the whole point. It's called a Night in Hell, right? Now let's think. How did the issues between these two get started? Got it. Gary and Riki will do battle at a Night in Hell in a ladder match. Vipenib exits with Gary and Riki staring one another down. The match has been set. A Night in Hell hosts a ladder match. After a commercial break, we then see Hernando Lystio in his locker room, ready for a backstage interview. In his casual attire, Lystio is approached by an interviewer, asked of the medical updates of his partner, Ricardo Synxia. Lystio explains that those peras known as Matariamas dislocated the shoulder of his partner. He talks about El Fuego's desire to hold the tag team titles once again and is hoping to have Synxia return before a Night in Hell to get that job done. The interviewer then asks if that's even possible, with the injury and everything. Lystio reminds them of who his partner is. It's Ricardo Synxia. The guy can do anything. El Fuego will compete for the titles sooner rather than later and will take the gold away from those... Lystio witnesses the entrance of Jillian Day, leading her champions to interrupt the scene. Jillian explains that they took El Fuego's titles, their finisher, their dignity, and last week took out half the team. She gives Lystio a bit of advice. Give up. Give up before they become nothing but ashes from the careers that Matariamas set fire to. She tells El Fuego that with Synxia healing in a hospital somewhere, El Fuego's title dreams are over. Lystio tells the nasty hoe to shut her damn mouth. El Fuego's flame will never die. Mark Lystio's words. Synxia will be back and demands that they get their title shot at a Night in Hell. If Matariamas think they're so great, how about they prove it right now? How about Lystio takes on one of Jillian's bondage boys in the ring right now? If Lystio loses, then Matariamas will never hear from El Fuego ever again. If he wins, El Fuego gets their rematch at a Night in Hell. Jillian sniggers and asks why she would accept, only for Lystio to slap Mathias right in the face. Lystio exits instantly, with Mathias following. The camera follows both men as they run through the hallway and out on the stage. Enter Hernando Lystio and Mathias. The two begin to brawl down the ramp, causing Aaron to demand security over commentary to break up the fight, or, as an alternative, to get an official down to the ring to start an official contest. With security out to stop the two, an official runs down the ramp and demands that the security let them go, as a match has been made official. Lystio and Mathias get in the ring and continue their brawl, with the match starting in the oddest of ways. Match 5. Hernando Lystio versus Mathias. If Lystio wins, El Fuego compete for the titles at a Night in Hell. The brawl leads to Lystio being on top and hoping to attempt the Phoenix Splash, only for Mathias to cut it off, keeping Lystio down. With Mathias looking at the corner, he is tempted to steal Lystio's move. After all, he's stolen everything else. Going up top, Mathias contemplates his decision as he is unbalanced. Taking too much time, Mathias is stopped by Lystio, who meets him up top and hits him with a huge back suplex from the top rope. Recovering, Lystio hits the Phoenix Splash after all for the win, allowing El Fuego to go to a Night in Hell. As Lystio exits in victory, The commentary team are seen at their desk. El Fuego's Brotherhood may live on despite Synxia's absence, but the question is, does the Brotherhood of Barry the Bogan and Wazzy D continue to live on? Wazzy has been trying for the past 2 months to bring Barry back to Impetus, yet failing with comedic effect. With Wazzy trying once again during this past week, did he succeed? Bringing Barry back, Part 4. Wazzy D is seen walking into a huge warehouse. Walking through, he finds Barry doing donuts on a forklift. Finally getting the Bogan's attention, Wazzy wants to talk to his best buddy about Impetus. He's getting a little tired and sick of running around, chasing after his friend and begging him to come back to the company. Barry can't keep on going from job to job when he has Impetus waiting for him and a coast-to-coast title match right there on a silver platter. Wazzy can't stand to see such a talented and entertaining dude be put to waste in a dead-end job with Wazzy! Barry yells at his friend and tells him to get over it. He's never coming back. If Wazzy is so sick of running after him, then just stop. Give up. Barry wants to be a man. Live a simple life, go to work, go home, go bed, and drink beer. A lot of beer, actually. If a good opportunity comes his way, then he's going to take it, but wrestling just isn't in him anymore. With Wazzy upset, he accepts defeat and walks away slowly, simply saying, "Fine, I tried." With slow and sad music being heard, the scene turns dramatic, with Barry calling his name one last time. "Wazzy!" Wazzy turns back with tension, seeing Barry raise the tines of the forklift up and down quickly, as well as his eyebrows. Barry suggests that if this is their last meeting, they may as well have fun. With a tear rolling down his face, Wazzy slowly smiles, cutting to a romantic montage of Barry and Wazzy riding in a forklift together in slow motion. Dangling off the tines, standing on top of the forklift, spinning around, having the time of their lives, Wazzy and Barry cement their friendship. The scene ends with a still image of Wazzy and Barry riding on the forklift in glee, ending with a fade out. Still to come, Wazzy D takes on Chris Vortex. With Barry the Bogan making his career choices clear, can Wazzy now decide to move on? However, up next, Greg Williams calls out the locker room. Enter Greg Williams. The Rebel enters and talks about his time as champion. His second run with the gold has been great. Not only has he proven to be the best in the business, but he's proud to know that he has motivated others to rise up the ranks, no matter how childish, flamboyant, and annoying as they may be. He said it before, and he'll say it again. This revolution of Impetus wouldn't have existed with Sam Pullen still in charge. But more importantly, it wouldn't have happened without the crowd. Their voices have been able to get Jimmy Sparrow, Johnny Fabuloso, and even Steven Dreadful in the main events. Not that they never deserved it, and also not that he didn't destroy them, but Impetus has become a great change of pace than before. It's constantly changing, constantly throwing new challenges his way, but after 4 months, Greg can safely say that it seems as though there's no one left. I mean, think about it. Dave Falcon, gone. Corruption, gone. Riki Mathews, beaten. Jimmy Sparrow, Johnny Fabuloso, Steven Dreadful, done. I mean, is there anyone left? Greg needs a little more competition here in this revolution. He needs the revolution to step up to Greg Williams. He asks, who can possibly be next? Who can be the man to take his title away? Who can? The lights go out. As they brighten, behind Greg stands the chaotic creature, Scar. Scar hits Greg instantly with the resurrection and stands over the champion. He raises the title over the Rebel. Scar is next. Scar is next in line. Scar wants the title. Scar is Greg's next challenger. Impetus returns after a commercial break with a replay from moments ago. The previous scene of Greg being sent to hell with a resurrection by Scar is shown. The rebel may have experienced a taste of it tonight, but in 3 weeks he will experience an entire night in hell as, at a night in hell, the World Impetus Championship is on the line. Greg Williams officially defends his title against Scar. During the break, Greg apparently demanded this match. Also, the Coast to Coast title is on the line at a night in hell as Warren Jackson defends his title against Dylan Dark. Can Dylan focus while being pressured by his children? Also, the Women's Championship is on the line. Daria defends the title against Jade Williams. How will Daria deal with Jade's sleeper hold? And the Impetus Tag Team Championship match between El Fuego and Matariamas takes place, but Synxia is currently hospitalized. Will he be able to compete? The stipulations to these matches are going to be announced in the future, but one of them has been set. The #1 contendership ladder match. Riki Mathews and Gary Federline will compete to find out who the next challenger to the Coast to Coast title will be. Will Riki get revenge with injured ribs? Enter Wazzy D. Seemingly at ease with the decision his partner has previously made, it seems as though Wazzy is entering with a clearer mindset. Enter Chris Vortex. Match 6. Wazzy D versus Chris Vortex. Wazzy is far more focused in this matchup, showing his former energetic and talented self by defeating Chris Vortex with the Coast to Coast. Winner, Wazzy D. Impetus advertises its next week's episode as Warren Jackson will face Mark Emile, where if Warren Jackson wins, he will decide the stipulation between himself and Dylan Dark at a night in hell. However, if he loses, Dylan will decide. Also, next week, CJ versus Terri Delighta. Has the Killers of the Revolution manager gone insane? A final replay of the Immunity Saga is then seen, with Bobby Manuel and Jerry Kane facing the family members of Susan and Silver. They get stomped out by the Sinister Duo. Using their dirty antics to gain control, Bobby and Jerry beat down the resilient Dominic, only to be interrupted in the midst of their offense by what they saw on the screen. Seen in the parking lot last week, Finch clearly won Angel over by gifting her a sexy-ass new car. With Finch claiming to have left the keys in the locker room, conveniently, Angel jumps for joy. Bobby and Jerry proceeded to lose the match due to this distraction, allowing Finch to snigger at the camera, seemingly winning the subtle competition between the three of them. The secret admirer is ready to be revealed. Immunity are then seen in the ring already. Finch, Bobby and Jerry are sitting in their own chairs behind a desk on one side of the ring. In the middle of the ring stands Angel, who welcomes all to the reveal of her secret admirer. There are obviously no three men in this world that like her more than Bobby, Charlie and Jerry. After the last couple of weeks, she's received some nice gifts, one just as good as the last. However, she doesn't want to continue with the mystery anymore. She's not much of a waiter. She knows it's one of her immunity allies, but wants them to reveal their identity themselves right here, right now. With all men standing instantly, waiting to take credit, it seems as though the mystery man is still a mystery. Angel had a feeling it would come to this. As a result, she will give each man a 2-minute platform to convince her and the world that they are the kindest, most gentlemanly, most attractive gift giver of all time. Bobby, we'll start with you. Bobby is a little nervous as he stumbles on his words. trying to appear sexy in the process. However, he gives it all up and decides to just simply be honest with Angel. After all, that's all he's ever been with her. He admits it. He's a lot more emotional than most men, especially compared to the two he's competing against right now. But he knows that behind Angel's glamorous magnificence, behind her party girl front, all she needs is a soulmate. Of course he is the secret admirer, as only one with a heart like his could think of something so beautiful. The flowers, the chocolates, the photo frame, the car, it's only something someone like him would think of. With Angel holding her heart, she feels Bobby's words, convinced. Jerry is next, as he is casual, pouting his lips. Listen, baby girl, you know Jerry's not one to fall for the chicks. He explains that he's used to having all the females fawn over him, not the other way around. However, Jerry is willing to put aside all the voluptuous booties and the big-breasted broads that come his way, on a nightly basis, of course, and sacrifice all that pleasure for her. See, Jerry and Angel, that just makes sense. Look at Angel, and then look at the rest of Immunity. Bobby is thinner than a twig, and Finch is a ginger with no soul. The pairing of Jerry and Angel is a match made in heaven, and he vows that when she spends the night with Jerry Kane, heaven is where she'll be. Of course, he is the secret admirer. Only a smooth-talking, silver-tongued devil like him could be so cunning. Angel blushes and giggles in the middle of the ring, attracted to Jerry's charisma. However, there is one man left to pour his heart out. Finch. Charlie Finch stares at the floor in sadness while he speaks. He never wanted to admit it, but guesses that now is the best time. There's a reason why he called himself a secret admirer, why he didn't want his identity to be known. He's been in love before, and it failed. It broke him. It shattered his heart into specks. Forming Immunity was Finch's naive hope of recovery. He assumed that surrounding himself with easily manipulatable people would allow him to regain power. Power that he lost from a broken heart. As it turns out, he was right. Immunity made Finch stronger, everyone stronger, but without realizing, as Immunity grew, so too did his care, connection, feelings for Angel. Finch says that there isn't one girl on this world he would repeat history with. But there is one woman. And that woman is Angel. Angel is stunned by the speeches and claims that they all revealed a lot more than expected. But only one man has revealed the truth. Only one man can be the secret admirer, and she knows now, after listening to all three of them, she knows deep down within her who it is. She looks at the three with shyness and buckles with a giggle. Extending her spotlight, Angel pretends that she simply can't do it. She's too shy. As a result, she wants to write it down on a piece of paper and get Aaron Cutler to get in the ring and read it out loud. Come on, Aaron! Aaron exhales with irritation and gets out of his desk and gets into the ring. Angel writes the answer on Aaron's back and nervously asks him to reveal the name. Ladies and gentlemen, Angel has decided that the identity of her secret admirer is none other than... Enter Courtney. Stunning Immunity, Courtney enters with the previously gifted flowers, chocolates, and picture frame of Post Malone. Placing them on the ring steps, Courtney gets in the ring to talk to her friend. She reveals herself to be Angel's secret admirer. Okay, calm down, relax. She's not here to confess her undying love for Angel, but she is the person who sent her the gifts. Why? Because she wanted to teach Immunity a lesson. She wanted to teach the men of her group that, despite believing themselves to be impervious to weakness, they will fight like little boys to keep a chick. She wanted to show Angel that the more she flirts and twirls her skirt so bad it hurts, the more lies and deception she would encounter. She wanted to show her friend the truth. However, it seems as though Courtney has learnt a lesson of her own. Angel has loved it. Angel has loved every second. She knew Angel loved male attention. She already knew how much it fed her ego, but she was hoping that this would all show the pathetic display of childish squabbling of the Immunity males. But all it seems to have done is make Angel more of a gold digger than ever before. With Angel offended, she simply believes that Courtney is just jealous. Jealous that she always got the hot guys, while the only thing Courtney could pick up is her phone to speed dial Domino's and order a combo meal for one. Courtney never delivered those presents. It was one of the guys, and she knows without a shadow of a doubt that it was. Angel is stopped yet again by Courtney, this time reaching into her pockets and pulling out the familiar car keys that she so desperately wanted last week. Angel is stunned. It was Courtney all along. Courtney states that she's learnt now that Immunity are nothing more than trophy hunting phonies with, looking Angel up and down, incredibly low standards. Angel is insulted, and she tries to react, only for Courtney to claim that she's also learnt that Angel is nothing more than a gold-digging, big-titted, little-brained slut. Angel is stunned and slaps her friend. Courtney instantly takes her down into a well-overdue brawl. The Immunity fellas finally do something, splitting them apart. During the chaos, Finch gets knocked into Angel, sending the pretty princess down. Bobby and Jerry then stop the protection and confront Finch, angry with what he's done. The men then start their own brawl, leading up the ramp. Security divide into two sections as they try and stop the men on stage and attempt to hold Angel and Courtney as they continue their catfight in the ring. Impetus has ended with Immunity chaos and Immunity no longer in unity. This episode of Impetus has ended. However, during the following week, before the next episode, additions to the Night in Hell pay-per-view have been announced. A triple threat match between Charlie Finch, Bobby Manuel, and Jerry Kane is set for the pay-per-view. But that's not all, as the World Impetus Championship match between Greg Williams and Scar, well, that's going to take place inside the Dome. A Night in Hell needed a stipulation for this World Impetus Championship match, and my God, we've got it.